Hello, hello, Renegades. How are we doing tonight? Hello, hello, hello. Alright. Well, I just got back from a midterm, so that was fun, but today we have a case for people. This Oh, hi, Mo. Okay. This is gonna be a little bit more complicated if Mo's in chat, but you know, I'm glad that you're doing wonderful, Foxy. Foxy with 5 eyes, so that would be like Foxy. Hi, Foxy. Yeah, Foxy sounds weird. Okay. Oh, okay. And Faye's here too, for ready to prepare us. Lovely. Okay. Well, I see that everybody is here, and you know, I was gonna go over a little bit of a preamble about how this happened, but I think we should get right into it. So, as you all know, I've opened up some case files. I've opened up an investigation agency to take in case files. And the very first case that I received was actually from one of the studio staff, and I didn't expect this to be my first case, but I guess it is what it is. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this was the report I received. It reads, it comes from Concerned Kapu, who is Studio SIAT staff, and they write, Dear Wren, as you know, I have been working with Studio SIAT and the virtual ambassadors for some time. Over this period, despite being told that everything has been above board, I have discovered many legally questionable activities conducted by the virtual ambassadors. Not only do I hear repeated rumors of Faye hiding bodies, I also recently discovered that Mo has been charged with 69 counts of fraud. My request for this investigation is very simple. Please look into your fellow virtual ambassadors and help me figure out once and for all who committed the most crimes. Now, normally, normally I would look at this case and I would look at it with some skepticism, right? Like, I mean, clearly we're representing a university here. You know, we don't commit any crimes. We're all above board. We're all very, you know, we all behave very properly and legally within the confines of the law. That being said, I thought, well, that if it's my job as an investigator to look into it, and you know what, we'll confirm it. So you think Sus Kapu did these crimes? You know what, Sus Kapu is sus, so that is a possibility. You know, maybe they can speak without the soundboard and they just choose not to. That might be interesting. Well, okay, so this one is for Concerned Kapu. We'll see if we can look into her concerns, and I'm sure we can prove that all of us are innocent. No one has done any crimes. That being said, I think the best way for us to go through this would be to, well, look at each virtual ambassador individually, you know, one at a time, to really think about what they're, you know, what they've done and their actions. But, you know, before any investigation takes place, we have to establish some ground rules and some, you know, some assumption. We have to set some assumptions, realistically. So, today's question: are the SFU virtual ambassadors criminals? I'm actually going to put a poll in chat right now. You guys can feel free to voice your opinions, either right now or after you've seen some of the evidence. We'll see who really is the most criminal virtual ambassador by the end of this. Yes, but as I was saying, we have some ground rules to cover. So, number one, we are going to base legality off Canadian law because, well, first of all, we're all on Canada right now, so we should be abiding by Canadian law, and also because Avenarian law is really, well, there's a lot of holes in it. It's just, it's not sound rules to be basing investigations off. All right, rule number two. We're only going to count actions in Avanaria or Earth. So this is going to mean like the music videos, the lore videos, things people have said on stream, on debut. I think that's all the sources. Yeah, basically, what I don't want to cover is stuff in video games, because otherwise we can nail Mo for her cabaret empire right now, and it's just over. It's undefensible. Rule number 3: all of you guys are gonna be my co-investigators in this. You know, you're gonna help me cover the gaps. You know, I'm just one investigator here. I can't cover everything. If you think I've missed anything, feel free to put it in chat. We can have a little bit of a discussion about that. Does it still count if Mo has paid for her crimes? Technically, in the bureau, Mo has 0 criminal record. It's been all wiped. It's all gone. But we still need to investigate what she actually did to get there. I see Mo's winning the polls very hard. All right. Okay. And lastly, just as a reminder, all of the rules of the channel still apply. This is still a school channel. Think of the children. Just think of them. Now, anyways, as fittingly, it looks like everyone is thinking. It seems like 60% of you think that Mo is the most criminal. And, you know, considering that she's just come out of a jail sentence, you know, I can kind of understand where this sort of like this belief is coming from, and I think we should cover what she's done. So, good old Mo Ayato, she has admitted to piracy on stream, so this is something that we would have to nail her for. Or I think we could charge her for this because we have sufficient evidence. She's definitely mentioned this multiple times in stream. I don't necessarily have the clips right now, but I'm sure we can get that. She's famously known for fraud. I mean, there's literally like fraud emote. Like the emote with her with the word fraud. Is it really a crime if it's it is still a crime. Laws can be unbased, but if you break an unbased law, that's still a crime. Yes. Thank you, chat. You all know there's many counts of fraud there for Mo. But something that I maybe you guys maybe haven't thought of is I'm actually not sure what to charge this as, and maybe you guys can help me with this. But in Mo's intro animation, let's see if I can pull that up, and I can. As we see, we have clear evidence here. Oh, it does not actually loop. My bad. Let's loop that. We have clear evidence here of Mo forcefully taking raccoons and putting them into what appears, what I understand as some magical potion. This is very clear evidence here. This is hard evidence. But there's a couple of defenses that she might be able to argue here, and you know, if she's here, maybe she'll argue them for me. But you know, as an investigator, it's not my job to judge. I want to make sure that we cover all the bases. And yeah, so okay, so Mo has decided to go with their lives are being enriched. So that actually brings up a really interesting philosophical question here. Yes. They may be happier as Kapus, but did Mo get consent to put the Kapu in there? But then again, are raccoons capable of giving consent legally because they're animals? Like, it brings up a whole legal mess here. I think Kapus have rights. Like, I'm just gonna say this right now. Kapus would have rights. They're living, sentient beings. They'll have rights. So, is forcefully giving somebody rights illegal? Because I think I would say a raccoon under Canadian law does not have rights. Well, it has some rights under like animal protection, which you could argue that some of them were broken here. I mean, why are they walking towards the potions? Well, I mean, the raccoon just seems to be minding their own business, right? Like you can look at them right here. I think you guys can see my cursor. Yeah, they're walking around minding their own business, And then let's see if we can get the exact frame. There was a couple of frames that are... Oh, no, I was one frame a bit too short. Right there. I would say that face there does not imply consent. I don't think that's a consensual face. They look very afraid. They look like they're forcefully being grabbed and put into some kind of, realistically, some kind of psychoactive substance, right? Like, it increases their intelligence, their brain mass, their consciousness. And I don't know. Chat, what do we feel about this? I saw one... Chicktori thinks it's a crime. Do we think that this is this animal abuse? Is this like assault? Like what is this? Because it can't be really considered assault because like they don't have rights before they go into the potion. Okay, Yunzaku thinks it's a crime too. Yeah, okay, okay. Who's more criminal? The artist who drew... No, the artist who drew this is based. But is this action criminal? I mean, I'm hearing a lot of yeses here. I'm hearing a lot of yeses. I am gonna say that this... Well, here's the thing though, because there's a couple layers to this. Is this animal abuse? Is this assault? Is this like mutilation? Like, do raccoons like physiologically change? Do they get like dysphoria from this? Like, and what's the success rate? Is it 100% success rate? Are there no side effects? Like, there's a lot of questions here that we don't necessarily know the answer to. But and also how many raccoons? Like, think about every single Mo stream. Mo dumps at least like 6 or 7 of these into the potion, at least. The raccoon isn't a victim of assault because prior to gaining greater intelligence after capification, they were simply seen as an animal. So are you arguing that it would be assault if they were like if they had rights, but then because it's not because they're an animal? But then if that's the case, then I think, isn't that like, aren't you agreeing that you've basically committed animal abuse? Because I mean we could charge this. I think we could push a charge that it is, well, yeah, Mo, it's not animal abuse to pick up an animal and bathe them, but you're chucking them into like complex chemical substances here. It's not just water and soap. And also, like, I don't think it's healthy for the raccoon to be grabbed by the tail either. I think it might be okay for capus, but I don't think it's okay for raccoons. That would be my prosecution argument there. I mean, okay, I guess soap is complex. Okay. Well, that is our case. Our what I think was that our charge number 3. Yeah, it's our charge number 3. What else we can go for is illegal portal usage, and this one I can actually defend Formo, because so first of all, we've specified that we're judging this by Canadian law. There are no rules in the Canadian law regarding portals. That being said, the use of a portal would just be like a means of transportation. So it would be using like another form of transportation that doesn't really have laws covering it specifically yet, like one of those like new e-bikes, e-scooters, things like that. So that would actually be fine. What would actually get most the illegal border crossing, right? Like we see from the lore video, like from Project Acorn's lore video, that they go straight into Studio SIAT. We don't see any like border checkpoints. We don't see Faye or Mo giving out their papers, and so they've illegally entered Canada, right? They didn't do so through a legal port of entry. So that would be illegal. Definitely illegal. But I have the, I'm going to pull up the evidence right here. There is some evidence that saves Mo. Let's pull it up. Okay, so we're at our well-known Gen 1 lore trailer. And here we see Faye and Mo conspiring to enter Earth. So far they haven't done anything illegal, but they're conspiring to. They're planning for it. And there we go. That, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary folk, that is what saves Mo. Because she didn't go into the portal willingly. She was kicked into the portal. Which means she didn't willfully try and illegally cross the border. In fact, actually, she was the victim of a crime there. She was assaulted, but we'll get into that later. That's a later crime. So, Foxy, we will get to that. We will cover that in the Faye section. But I actually think we can clear Mo of illegal portal usage here. Like, I think that was not her fault. She came in, she had the traumatic experience of being kicked into a portal, and then also being turned into a human, or like humanoid creature. So, you know what? Like, yeah, I can respect that. We can clear that charge. What I cannot clear, however, is further down here. Let's see. So, after their magical transformation, which is very cool, and the animators were totally goated for this, they were asked to identify themselves. And what did they do? They made up a fake last name. They even confirmed it. They double down on this. Now, okay, Mo. Let's hear your defense. What is your defense to this? In Kapu culture, you don't have last names. You know what? That's fair. There are actually many existing cultures who don't have last names. And what's typically done there is so there are actually like Earthbound cultures that don't have last names. And when they're forced to go into situations like this, where they're forced to provide a surname for legal documentation purposes, they just put their first name again. So you would be like Mo. So that is technically fraud. And you know, that is fair. I can understand your situation, and I'm empathetic to it, you know. I'm still getting used to Earth culture right now. I've been studying my butt off trying to get an understanding of how things are different here. I understand that. But unfortunately, it is in Canadian law, what is it? Ignorance of the law is not a legal defense. So you would still have committed fraud, even though you didn't mean to. Thumbs the rules. I'm sorry. Yeah, Momo wouldn't have been so bad. Yeah. And lastly, we must consider that Mo literally got punted through a portal and transferred. This is true. I think, like, obviously, I'm just an investigator. This isn't a courtroom. I'm not a juror. I'm not a judge. But I will say that I think if you disputed this charge, if you went to court over it, I think I mean, I can't say this legally. Legally, I cannot promise this, but I think a judge or a jury would be a judge. A judge would give you some leeway here because you know what? You were just assaulted. You were just kicked through a portal. You had just gone through this like really crazy, like transformation into a human. I think you could apply for compassionate grounds there, and they probably like lighten your sentence or like not charge you with it. But as an investigator, I do have to press that charge. But, you know, I feel for you. I do feel for you. Unfortunately, I do have one more charge, and this one's a bit more serious. Again, so it seems like we've established that raccoons are not legally persons and are not legally protected. They have, like, animal protection. But capus have people protection. And people rights. Now, there's a slight problem with that. Because we have a few instances that are a little concerning. I'm actually going to show... Which one should I show first? I'm going to show this one first because I think this one is less damning. So, in the Tiny Mo music video, we have Tiny Mo, who gets kicked into the sky by Mo. That, frankly, that looks pretty painful. I don't think that was consensual. And even if it was consensual, I feel like there were some injuries sustained. Like, we'll watch it again. That Kappa went flying there. That's far. And, like, This is literally proof, bro. I'm literally watching you kick Kapu. Like, the punting. Like, it's literally... You hit the Kapu with so much force that they go into the sky and then crash right back down. Like, that has got to be assault. You could argue it's an accident. I mean, you could argue it's an accident, but I feel like... If you're going down a slide, I think it's pretty... You can see the Kapu. So, you were just going down the slide, and, so, okay. You didn't kick the Kapu. You just went down at enough velocity, struck the Kapu, and sent them flying into the sky. And you didn't... I think... There is some defense for this. Like, it is a proper defense. You can argue that, you know, you didn't see the Kapu. But I feel like from their positioning, I feel like you should. Like, I think it's within reason that you would see the Kapu considering they're right at the bottom. And if you look at where your eyes are looking, like, you're like looking right at them. It's bad playground behavior. Okay. You know what? We'll take that plea deal. Bad playground behavior. We'll drop it. We'll drop the charges to that. It looks like it. Like, it looks like your eyes are looking down at the bottom of the slide, and Kapu's at the bottom of the slide. So there's like no reasonable way that you didn't see Kapu. Like, I would get if you're like looking up or like somebody called your name and you're looking to the side before you slide. Let's run the security footage back. Yeah, it looks like you're looking right at Kapu. At the earliest frame at the highest end of your slide. And from what we can tell, I don't hear any like warning. Like, if you committed to the slide and you went like, oh no, there's Kapu at the bottom, it would be reasonable for you to try and prevent harm to them by maybe shouting a warning or like trying to give them a heads up. And yeah, I don't see any of that here, so I don't think that was present. And that okay, we'll accept the plea deal there for bad playground behavior. Unfortunately, there's actually 2 assault charges. Well, honestly, I don't know how to charge you with this one. So in Faye's music video, Kyofu All Back, I'm gonna skip forward here. There is a instance of that's a little bit harder to defend. I that is a lot of assault. That is actually let's go through. Let's count this. You're right, Yunzaku. We should count the exact amounts of strikes here. 2, 3. That's another 4. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think that's right. Chat, am I right? That's like 15 strikes with a hammer. Like that's with a weapon with intent. Like you're not like hitting them with like I don't know, like a back scratcher or something. Like that's a straight up like giant hammer. Let's see if we can get a frame here. Mo, do you have anything to say for yourself? Because it's kind of caught in 4K here. It's very clearly you. You're very clearly striking what appears to be a Kapu. That's a plushy Kapu. No Kapus are actually harmed. That is actually a viable defense. We cannot confirm for sure if that is a live or dead Kapu. But, oh, wait, no, actually, we can. So, if we look very closely here, we can see the eyes of Kapu. Like, you can see them, they're like slits. They're open. And when struck, it goes into a cross. That doesn't happen to a blanket. That doesn't happen to a stuffy. That was a live Kapu. Like, chat, I think we're witnessing murder here. This might actually be like murder or manslaughter charges right now. Like, look, we'll run it back. And I know this might be sensitive, so you know, if you're for sensitive viewers, maybe you might want to look away. But we can see Kapu clearly with eyes open, and after the strike, they're gone. You please Section 13 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom. And you have every right to do so, Mo. Yeah, I will not get you to say anything that's self-implicating. However, that is a charge that we will have to press. So, to recap here for Mo, piracy, I think we could go forward with those charges. Fraud, absolutely. Pushing raccoon into potion, we'll charge that as animal cruelty, which actually I don't think is a criminal offense, but that is a civil offense, and that is breaking the law. Illegal portal usage, she was cleared for, no problem. Falsified name, not cleared for, but realistically will probably be okay at the court. Assault. Wow. Assault. You do not remember doing this. In fact, oh. So you're claiming you don't remember doing this. The artist was falsely making evidence of Mo. Interesting. Interesting. Well, we'll have to tackle that in cross-examination. But you know, you can hit Kapus while in jail. In fact, to what I remember, you sang the cover in jail. Archival footage. That's another possibility too. It could also have happened before. They have to have gotten that footage from somewhere. It may not necessarily be when Mo was in jail. And Mo did get super buff in jail, which would explain how she could carry that giant hammer. Ah. Interesting. So, let me get this straight. You think that are you suggesting that this footage was placed into the Faye music video to frame you? Because if you are, that's a really kill Capu under duress. That is a justification. It's not really a defense. Like, you could still get charged even if you did something under duress. It's just usually a lightened sentence. Kill 15 Capus. Yes. All right. So again, I am just a lowly investigator. I'm here to bring you people the evidence. The judgment is, you know, as is most right. Judgment should be taken by a jury of her peers, of you know, of you guys. So you guys can decide: is Mo guilty of assault, manslaughter, murder? Who knows? But the framing makes it is a very good segue to our next section, which is gonna be about Faye. Now, Faye's been hard. I'll be level with you. It's been really hard to get evidence in this guy. There's a lot of things pointing towards him, but I can't definitively say that anything was absolutely him. Oh, you're saying it's deepfake? Oh, that would be very terrifying. I am very sure that no AI usage was in that music video, but we can always double check. We'll take a look into that. That's why this is a legal process, people. There are many steps. Okay. Oh, and Faye's here too. Lovely. Okay. I will be real. As an investigator, I have been very, very frustrated with this case, because there's very little evidence, actually. So I will just put that out front. However, we can get after Faye immediately for a few things. First of all, I can't bring it up right now because it's not a video, but I believe it does say on the SFU like SIAT website, or like the SFU website about virtual ambassadors, that Faye gets like the latest releases of like Japanese media, and he learned Japanese to get the latest releases. And that's all cool and all that, but from what I understand, he's been doing that in Avanaria as well, which means, like Mo, that falls under the same kind of media piracy. So I think he's admitted to that pretty much. Like that's on paper, that's legally down. So, well, I think we will be going forward with those charges, repeatedly. And actually, concerning Capu, the reportee of this forum, also mentioned this as well. Faye is allegedly known as a body hider. Okay, one sec. We'll pause because I want to actually answer Mo's question. Mo has a very good question. On the piracy topic, I want to bring something up related to recent discourse. If there is no legal way to acquire the media, should we never be allowed to consume it at all? Well, I mean, personally, I think, like, from a legal perspective, no. You are not allowed to see it because the creator, or realistically, the producer and publisher of the media has decided that you are not the audience that they want. But, personally, and exactly, Shoba beat me to my point here, which actually kind of ticks me off a bit. It's okay, Shoba. Is that it is self-determination, right? You get to pick what you watch, and you were not gonna let these kind of things stop you. And so personally, I think it's kind of base, but legally, still have to charge you. This is true. You know what? The law is not a perfect system, and that's why we all gotta work on it, and we gotta make sure that it serves the people and that it serves society. Because I'll be the first to say it doesn't always do that. All right, Chiktori, what do you got? Emulation is legal. I feel like that's like a gray area. Like, am I gonna... But ROMs are illegal. Oh, that is a good point. That is true. Well, that... You bring up a very good point, Chiktori. There are a lot of... It's not quite double standards. What's the word I'm looking for? Inconsistencies with the law. So you've never acquired copies. Okay, you know what? That, I think, is actually... So, you've never acquired copies of anything. You've just emulated it. Is that the defense you're going with, Faye? Because I would like to ask further on, how did you emulate that when you're in a different dimension? He reads it in the library. That's okay. So basically what I'm hearing is we can clear you of all piracy charges because you've always gone to the library, you've borrowed legal copies, you've never illegally copied anything. And okay, I can understand that seems like a plausible defense to me. But I am hearing that means you have gone back and forth willingly with intent to your intent to go to the library throughout dimensions multiple times, which means when we get to legal portal usage, that's gonna have to go up in count. But before we get there, we've got a couple other charges that we want to go over. Alleged body hiding. Unfortunately, Faye, this is between you and me. I know what you do. I know what you're up to. And I can't prove it yet, but I will. Mark my words. I will find evidence. I will catch you. And if you know what's good for you, you should stop hiding bodies right now. But anyways, because I don't have any evidence and it's only hearsay and rumor, I can't exactly. Like, unfortunately, Faye's got me this time. I cannot press charges for alleged body hiding because there has only been accusations that have generally not had enough evidence to warrant a charge. However, it is I will say that it is a bit convenient for a guy who can just summon portals to not have any evidence about what he does with the portals. I think that's been something they've been looking into. I feel like Faye definitely has the means to hide bodies, because I mean, just chuck them in the portal and they go away, right? Panda intern Moshi says that she thinks that the first Jackboot stream was when the allegations first came up. So we might have to look into that a little bit more. And oh, perhaps it was done by EF. Very interesting points, chat. Well, what is Faye hiding bodies? Is he not? Again, I have to leave it up to you guys. But what we do have evidence of is what we just showed during the Mo case, is assault and possibly capo trafficking. So let's bring that up. So as we have seen earlier in the Mo case, what has exonerated Bo from illegal portal usage has condemned Faye. Faye has definitely assaulted Mo and punted her into another universe. But wow. Okay, he just admits it. All right, that's just a guilty plea right there. Because here's the thing, and maybe Faye may have benefited from waiting before he admitted to it, is that's not just assault, right? Like, on one level, that's assault because we've established that Kapus have human rights. That's assault into, like, across a border, which means it's trafficking. Like, you've forcefully taken Mo and moved her across a border. Like, that is literally Kapu trafficking. And, like, he created a portal too. Like, this was planned. You could argue there's intent here. Like, with the actions, he had to prepare to get that portal open. Is it trafficking if Mo wanted to go to Canada anyway? Yes, it is. It actually is. It's multiple assaults. Yeah. Yeah, I think. But the counterpoint doesn't, that like, there is a clear distinction between Avenaria and Earth. And you punted Mo across that boundary. Like, that's just trafficking. Like, no matter how you look at it. Like, and it seemed, yeah, Mo didn't want to be punted, and that makes it illegal. Chiktori, you're absolutely right. I think we can go forward with these charges. And on that note, we have the illegal portal usage. So we've covered the piracy charges. You know, Faye doesn't believe in media piracy. He only takes legal copies, borrowed copies, doesn't make any illegal copies. Understandable. But to do that, he crossed this boundary between Avenaria and Earth several times. And while I cannot prove that he didn't deliver his papers every single time, the fact that he says that Earth has no established legal borders makes me think that he did not go to an established point of entry into Canada, which means that he has illegally crossed the border several times. And yes, Canadian law states you need to appear at a... Thank you, Foxy. Canadian law states that you need to appear at a checkpoint ASAP if there was no checkpoint at the border you crossed. I don't believe we have any records of Faye coming into a checkpoint. And I believe he has also mentioned that he has returned to Avenaria and somehow come back. So I'm not sure exactly how many cases counts we can charge him with. Just viewing windows. Panda, I did go to a checkpoint. Okay, I did. I even put Apollo on my customs form. We're always above board here, you know. Just because I disagreed with the Bureau doesn't mean I'm gonna break every law. I guess I just admitted I break some laws, but we'll get into that. Alright. So I think we can nail illegal portal usage, definitely the assault, Kapu trafficking, falsified name. So unlike Mo, Faye does not have the same. Alright, did Apollo get X-ray? I'll get into that. I'll tell that story in a sec. So yes, I don't think there's any, like, unlike Mo, I don't think Faye has any compassionate grounds for defense here. It seems like he's the one who made the portal. He's planned the portal. It sounds like he's gone back and forth across the border a couple of times already. And he's doing so under a falsified name, which is fraud. What was the pull? Oh, okay. Chat, y'all really seem to want to know about the story. So, okay. So after we came in, Yes, will Faye reveal his real surname? But anyway, sorry. We were coming in from Evan area, and we're we had to check in Apollo because, well, I mean, like the Canadian like border people, they never saw anything like Apollo before. I didn't actually know what to check on the form. Like, there's a bunch of forms that says like food and meat and like technology and things like that. So like, I wasn't really sure what to do. So I just kind of talked to one of the border people and just kind of explained my situation. And they kind of looked at him for a bit. I think they talked to him. And then they talked to me for a bit in a room too. Honestly, it was kind of scary, but like they're pretty nice. And yeah, we basically, I think what we legally settled on was we checked him in as like a autonomous robot. It wasn't too hard. Like guys, he didn't go on like the like airport conveyor belt or anything. He was too big to fit in past like the metal detector or anything, so they just pat him down. Like they just did a physical search. I don't like Mo. I feel like if we ever have to move Apollo on a plane, he might have to go into the cargo bin just for the sake that I don't think he could fit in the cabin. Like I would buy him 3 seats to fit in the cabin. Like no problem. He's my bro, but I just don't think he can fit in there. Like I don't think he can get in through the plane door. Like he's got to go through the cargo. Yeah, he's just way too tall. He's a big bird. And honestly, you know what? I mean, I can't speak for him, but I feel like he would want to just fly over. Yeah, he can fly. So I feel like he would just fly by himself. Like why take the flight? Yeah, Chiktori, we talked about that with the government. And they were okay. We explained the situation to them, and they were okay with not checking Apollo. I think they were pretty chill. Where did we fly from? Oh, where did we land? I feel like it was kind of weird. We like landed in a field somewhere. I honestly, I don't know how Faye did the interdimensional communicator. I kind of just like jerry-rigged that thing. I wasn't really entirely sure how it worked, but I must have messed up with setting it somewhere because we ended up in like a field and we had to like figure out where we were for a bit. It was pretty messy actually. No, we didn't take a plane across dimensions. I was just saying in the hypothetical situation where I would have to take a flight with Apollo, because we were talking about bringing Apollo through, like, it sounds like you guys thought I brought him through like airport security. No, he just got pat down. Like, it was chill. Thank you, Faye. I like to think I learned quickly, if not perfectly. Like I can get the gist of things quickly, but I'm not too great on the details. But that flattery will not get you away from our next charge, which is wage theft. So, I believe it is to my understanding that you have interns. Well, that is good. You know, interns, giving interns experience is always a good thing. It's to my understanding that you don't pay them. Now, I had to look this one up, and from what I researched, unpaid internships are illegal in Canada. You can pay people, like you can pay your interns in school credit, or you can pay them in cash or like money. You can't just not pay them. And so therefore, I'm going to be suggesting that you be charged with wage theft, because you know you've had interns for, well, more than a year now, and you know, paying them in exposure and experience, that's just not legal. That's not okay. You gotta pay your interns. All right. Now, the next few charges, I'm not really sure what to charge with. Counterpoint, intern is a split fan name. You could argue that, but you literally tell them to punch out after every stream, which implies that you are recording their hours, but not paying them. Anyways, so that doesn't make it legal. Like, if you can't call them interns, because interns implies that they are employees. And I'm so upset that my arm is breaking right now. Like, interns implies that they're employees. If you explain to them that the terms are they wouldn't be paid, and they agree to it, then that's a volunteer position. You need to call them volunteers. Because if you call them an intern, that's an implicit, like, assumption, like an understanding that you're going to be paying them. You can't, it's like, if I gave, I don't know, it's like if I give like a volunteers, like if I told them that they were engineers, like, but really they're just volunteers, they're volunteering for me, but they're all engineers. That implies, you know, technical ability and education that they may not have. Fan name update going forward. There you go. There you go. Okay, but before that, I was talking about portal usage. So, portal usage, I feel like is a gray area. I don't think the Canadian law actually covers what legal portal usage is. And I don't know. Like, I feel like it is a dangerous thing to have that's unregulated. Like, I feel like, you know, not saying that Faye would do something bad with them necessarily, but having the option of portals, I think, opens up a lot of concerns, both with like security and safety and transport. And, you know, I feel like portals do need to be, you know, I feel like you should submit like a report to like Transport Canada or something so that they can assess the portal, and figure out what is a legal and safe way to use them. Because I think as it is right now, unregulated, it can pose quite a bit of a risk, right? Like, you can literally cross borders, you can literally take things, like you could, I don't know, you could like make a portal into like, I don't know, like the Pentagon or something and take a bunch of stuff out. Like, that's, there's some risk to this. And I feel like, while not explicitly illegal, going through with this kind of technology, well, I guess with this kind of magic, these kind of powers, this kind of capabilities, and not being able to, not reporting it for analysis is gonna, it's like, it's not illegal, but it's just not right. Like, you know, you should really, it's ethical. I feel like you're ethically bound to at least, you know, explain how your portals work. And again, this isn't necessarily a charge on you, but like, it's just documentation that needs to be had, and you're the only person who can do it. Same thing goes for necromancy. You have literally told to me that you conduct necromancy, and while you've said that you have a license, and I mean, I'm gonna assume the best out of you and say that your license is legit. That's a license in that area. Oh, I need to recalibrate. But anyways, chat, as I was saying, like, I feel like necromancy, while it's not explicitly mentioned here as illegal, it is still, like, there are related crimes, like, you know, tampering with a dead body. That is illegal. And I feel like without proper documentation, without proper licensing, without proper certifications, Faye should not, like, Faye committing necromancy on Earth is legally dubious, if not outright illegal. there's a... Sorry, let's see. Let's read chat here. For the record, you haven't done necromancy in years. Okay! If that's the case, if you haven't done necromancy on Earth, I can't charge you with anything. Because, you know what? It's legal in every area. But, I will say that in addition to these body-hiding allegations, necromancy offers a level of suspicion, I will say. You have a lot of means. I can't necessarily prove that you use those means for nefarious purposes, but you do. But you do have the means. Okay, Makopi has decided to crash like 3 times, so I will be right back. Okay, well, I'm slightly slanted, but it's fine. Hi, hello everybody, we're back. So yeah, okay, so where were we? We've cleared Faye of piracy charges. We can't nail him for body hiding, even though I really think he does. But you know, I'm a fair, unbiased investigator, and I can't recommend a charge on him if I don't have evidence. And then assault and capital trafficking, for sure, we got it. He literally admitted to it. He said he'd do it again. That's like crazy. We got him so hard on that. Illegal portal usage, I think that one's up to jury. Like, you know, I feel like there's defenses for each side. It really depends on what he actually did. Falsified name, for sure. Wage theft, for sure. And then in terms of the other 2 things, they're not necessarily illegal, but I do think he needs to explain them. And it sounds like he will. Yes, I am in italics right now, because italics? Wait, can I oh my god, no, if I slant more, I just straighten out. There we go. Oh, italics are cool. Alright, that's cool. So now we're through 2 of the virtual ambassadors right now. It looks like Mo is still leading at 65%. Which I think is a bit crazy, considering it seems like she was a victim to Faye in this circumstance, but again, I cannot make a judgment here. I'm just an investigator. Next up, we gotta talk about Apollo. Well, Apollo, he said some choice things, and prepare your ears, because this might be offensive to sensitive viewers. So, during Apollo debut, we have this comment. That I think that is like an active threat to pigeons, and you know, I don't really care for pigeons. I'm not a pigeon. I don't care. I still have to defend pigeons legally, and that, I mean, that's pretty clearly like intent. You know, that's hate speech. You know, one could even say like because he says like all the pigeons, you could even say that he's like supporting genocide of pigeons, which is kind of scary to think about. It's kind of very, very big and scary charges there. He's not here to defend himself, so I won't go too much into detail here, but you've seen the evidence and you've seen the charges, and you know, you as the jury, you can make your own decisions here. Next up. Yeah, that's a great point, Mo. It could be considered eco-terrorism even, because yes, removing all the pigeons, as much as I'm not that big of a fan of them, they do play an important part in the ecosystem, and all of them being gone would not be good. Oh my. Okay. I apologize. I appear to not have this file. Give me a second here. Let's see if I can find it. Pigeon is bird racism. Exactly. It's hate speech. Hate speech is not okay, you know. Everyone deserves to live in a society where they aren't being targeted or hated on, for, you know, for things that are outside their control. Pigeons didn't choose to become pigeons. No one made them into pigeons. They were just pigeons. Alrighty. So let's bring this up now. So we have another thing that we can definitely nail Apollo for. Don't mind all this. Is assault on an officer. 4 officers, actually. And if we look back at that, I mean that looks pretty substantial. Like that's some pretty substantial damage. And yes, exactly. Kevin, you're absolutely right. There's property damage. Is it illegal if it's cool, though? I want to say that everything cool is legal, but unfortunately that is not the case. The aura is insane. He popped off there. However, my words of support for him do not clear him from the assault on an officer and property damage. You know, I was gonna save the how we got to Earth story to clear Apollo here of illegal portal usage, but now you guys know we came in legally. We didn't do anything wrong. We went through all the proper procedures, and so it wasn't illegal to come into Canada. But I do have, and you know, I was talking to some of my investigator capus about this, and you know, we ran into interesting dilemma. Can we actually even charge Apollo? If we look at Canadian law, were the Moe units robots or people? They were people. Those were people in there. Not very nice people, but they were still people. But yes, so I was talking with the investigator capus, and we were thinking about whether we could even charge Apollo with anything, because quite frankly, like according to Canadian law, robots cannot actually be charged with crimes because they're not considered legally persons. I think that's bullshit. Pardon my language, but like Apollo is super sentient and awesome, and he absolutely deserves human rights. But the fact of the matter is, I think legally speaking, he may not actually have those. I will accept this bonk, but you know, this this does make me angry, but it is a reality that we have to consider. So I present to you the Apollo problem. So legally, the law has not developed to the point to consider golems legal people. But if that's the case, who's liable? So typically, the first thing goes to the manufacturer. Apollo's manufacturer is Wrenegades, who, as far as I know, is long gone, and I don't know where they are. They're not present here at all, and so I don't think we'd really be able to charge them. Okay, well, what does the law say if that's the case? If the manufacturer isn't liable, then usually it's the owner-operator liability. So this would go to the, I guess it would go to like the bureau. But the bureau isn't a legal entity here in Canada, which also means that, you know, as an organization, they're not. Yeah, exactly. Like Rodriguez isn't around anymore to be charged, so we can't pin Apollo's crimes onto Rodriguez. We can't pin it onto the bureau. So who do we pin it onto? I talked with the investigator capus, and it was unanimous. The only person that can be charged for Apollo's crimes is me. Like, just to cement it all, I literally, like, checked a bit and everything. So, as far as the Canadian government's concerned, I am legally responsible for Apollo. So, there is still one more report we have to make. That's on me. Oh my god. Apollo! So glad of you to join us. Alright. So, obviously, as an impartial and unbiased investigator, I would be perfectly capable of laying charges on myself. But, you know, for the sake of a fair and balanced investigation, I will say that these charges were laid by one of the investigator capus. So thank you very much to them for doing this work. But yes, we can go over the charges placed on me. So it says here that because I am legally responsible for Apollo, everything that we tried to pin on Apollo there, so that's supporting genocide, assaulting an officer, property damage, he was cleared of illegal portal usage. So those three would be on me, and I mean, I can't really defend that, honestly. Property, okay. And then there were the incidents in the bureau. I will bring up those incidents right now. So this is true. I can't really deny. Like, I was ID'd by a camera. Like, it was clearly me. And I did cause property damage. I did also take government property. Oh, like, I know this belonged to Fanart initially, but, you know, I did take it. It was in the evidence locker, so I wasn't allowed to take it. Again, that wall breaking would probably be pinned on me as well. I can't really even deny that. And yeah, that was a few charges, and this is all in a government office. So, depending on your opinion, this could be anywhere from property damage to sabotage to terrorism. And honestly, I don't have a defense for this. I did do these things. You know, I think it's important to own up to the things that you do. And yeah, I did. And that, you know what, Panda? You're right. Like, I did point at the boy agents. I directed Apollo to make that strike, apparently. And yeah, you know what? I agree. I agree, Shoba. Thank you. It was for a good cause, but I did do those things, and I have to own up to that. You know, I also, technically, you could also consider me, I mean, I'm freeing Apollo. Like, I decided, like, I didn't want Apollo to be abused. But you could argue that that's theft of government property because he was subject to a Bureau research project where he was the main sample. I also tampered with the evidence by taking the communicator with me. I can't be charged for it. Okay, dereliction of duty I will argue against. You know, they said it was my duty as a bureau agent to protect people, and I protected Apollo, and I think Apollo is a person, and he deserves human rights and everything else because he's awesome. So, I also filed a resignation. I did it with an explosion, but I still filed my resignation. So, you know, I will argue about dereliction of duty, but, you know, Investigator Capu believes that by leaving the bureau without leave, I basically went AWOL, which I guess is kind of true, but I'll leave that up to you, jury. I'll leave that up to the jury. Yeah, they gave me a severance package, exactly. It can't be that bad. It can't be dereliction of duty. Unfortunately, Apollo is considered a restricted weapon. So if I was charged for using Apollo to commit the charges that are placed on him, I would also be charged for unauthorized use of a restricted weapon. And, oh my god. Investigator Capo! Okay, the animal abuse / unethically sourced animal products is 100% because I will not tell Investigator Capu where I got my feather. But I believe that that is personal information, and it is my self-determined right not to have to disclose that. So I'm going to argue against that charge as well. And you know what? I'm cleared of illegal portal usage. We've been over this. So yeah, I think let's see. Apollo's charges, yeah, I'm definitely they got me. Property damage, sure. I think that's pretty undeniable. Dereliction of duty, I will argue against. Treason, I will also argue against. Theft of government property, depends on who you ask. Tampering with evidence, depends on who you ask. Like, I was just moving it. Isn't owning certain species of bird feathers actually completely legal? Yes, they are. But I can promise you that my feather is ethically sourced and perfectly legal. Unauthorized use of restricted weapons. Personally, I think Apollo is not a weapon. He's a person, and I didn't use him. Like, he's his own independent being with self-determined rights and decisions. But unfortunately, the law is too behind to understand that. So if they have to charge me with unauthorized use of a restricted weapon, so be it. Just, you know, so be it. Need some proof. I have my papers. Don't worry, I promise. I could show them to you at a later date. I just don't have them with me right now. Thank you, Shoba. You're absolutely right. Completely unrelated incidents. Unfortunately, if Apollo hit them, it's still on me, legally speaking. But yes, I think, everybody, that these are our charges. These are what I could come up with. It sounds like all of you have others. Did I lie to customs if Apollo is technically a restricted weapon? Well, he's a restricted weapon in Avanaria. And, I mean, he has weapon capabilities, sure. But, you know, they were chill with it. I got the pass. But, okay, so that is all the evidence I have on this investigation today. And now, we have some questions for the jury. Who is the most criminal VTuber? That is the core question that was asked by Concerned Capo at the beginning of this. Are each of us, like, okay, even if there's one who's the most, and it seems like the poll right now still says it's Mo, it's lower now, it's 59%. Are we guilty? Am I guilty? Is Apollo guilty? Is Faye guilty? And who is the biggest criminal? Can we reset the poll? Yeah, we could reset the poll. Yeah, honestly, I feel like Mo's getting done dirty here because she is like the least. She's actually been like the only one who's like proven as a victim of a crime. New poll for each question. Sure. Okay, so before the evidence, it looks like we're seeing that we're thinking that Mo is guilty, but I don't. Can I make a checkbox poll? That actually, that is a good point, Shoba. Okay, we don't. Okay. I don't think I can make a checkbox poll here, so I don't think I can do the first two. So we're just gonna do the last one because that realistically is the crux of the issue. It's the question that we set out to answer here. All right. Everybody, every Kapu, we have the poll. The poll is open. Who is the biggest criminal? You can't get over the brutality of the Kapu murder. You know, in my line of work, you see those kind of things every day. It really it gets you desensitized to it. But I understand. It is a very gruesome sight. I will give this poll maybe another 3 minutes while we talk about. Maybe let's chat about the other two questions while we leave this poll going. So, I mean, clearly looking at how the poll is going right now, I think it sounds like we think Mo is criminal. Do we think Faye is criminal? Like, can we label Faye as a criminal? Has he broken enough laws that he's a criminal? Because I really think he's doing up to something. I really think. Shows the slides again? Okay. We can go back. We're gonna go. So we have Faye here. Recap. Is Faye a criminal? We've cleared. He argues that he didn't commit any piracy, but that kind of makes him liable for illegal portal usage. We can't. He's only allegedly body hiding, but he did commit assault on Mo, and he's guilty of Kapu trafficking. And the wage theft too. He does do wage theft. And falsified name. Those are all charges that we have. I think we have the level of evidence to push for. Faye and Apollo together in a crime business, that would be very scary. Fortunately, I'm sure they're both very law-abiding people. Okay, so, I mean, Faye obviously is saying that there's no evidence for these, and he's perfectly fine, and that's okay. You know, it is within his rights to say that he's not guilty for these charges. But you know, I'm curious. Like, what do we think here? Man, Faye, I don't know. I don't know how you do this, but I guess he gets us scot-free again. All right, back to the drawing board on this guy. All right, Apollo. Just to recap, Apollo has said some hate speech towards pigeons. He is recorded to have conducted assault on 4 bureau officers. He's done property damage, but the defense there is that he might not actually be able to be charged because legally he can't be considered a person, which I think is wrong, but that's the law. Do we think Apollo is a criminal? Pigeons deserve it. Okay, Apollo, you're not. You need to exercise your right to remain silent here. You can't be doing this. I'm trying to argue for you, man. I mean, I'm completely unbiased and have no opinion of this investigation, and I'm merely just conducting my job in an impartial and proper way. Okay. I guess Apollo is not criminal either. And with that, the 3 minutes have passed, so I'm going to end the poll. And it does look like Mo has won with overwhelming 41%. All right. Well, I'm very sorry, Mo, but it does appear that the jury has convicted you and sentenced you as guilty. The jury is by that unfortunately that needed to be something that their lawyer would bring up before the proceedings, and I'm afraid it's too late. But viewers, not all is lost, because what I didn't tell you is that the person who would win this would have to do some kind of atonement stream, you know, something to make up for their criminal ways. And well, what exactly would atone for 15 counts of Kapu manslaughter? That's up to the members. So members, expect a poll soon-ish. I don't know how I don't think we've agreed what we're exactly doing, but I guess Mo will have to atone for her sins. And I think we do have a lot of members in chat, so. 15 drawings of Kapu. That would be. I would like to see that. Wait, are Apollo's votes counted onto me? That's a really good question. Wait, okay, what does that actually add to percentage-wise? Would that make me beat? Oh no, that would absolutely make me beat. Okay, you bring up a very good point. 29 plus 18. 29 plus 18 is 41, really? Oh yeah, no, it's like 47. Right? I'm not crazy, right? Is my math that bad? It's 30, 40, yeah, it's 47. Okay, so I guess if you count Apollo's votes onto me, then I guess I won. Oh, 29 plus 18 is great. It's my bad. I didn't see that. You know what? Maybe we should both atone. Maybe we should both atone. But yeah, okay. I guess we have to do dual punishment. You know what? I will accept that. Wren and the Apollo Collab redemption stream. Yes. I need to redeem myself. Clearly, I have been charged, and I am guilty. Mo has to do a drawing stream with Yakuza 0 on a second monitor, but she can't play. She has to keep drawing. That's literally, I have to commend that. That is a level of punishment that I don't think I could have come up with. 1984, exactly. Anyways, what will I guess you know what, for the sake of making sure that I am beyond reproach and that I make sure that I am you know, I show integrity and I show that I'm trustworthy, I will also do an atonement stream because Apollo's votes count on mine. I think because Mo was the individual who won the most, though, I think she should do one too. But Mo, what do you think? Are we both going into 1984 here? Please no horror stream. Okay, well, I mean, it sounds like she's accepted her fate, so I guess the both of us will have to do some atonement. But hopefully we'll be able to clear our sentences and both walk out as non-criminals. Anyways, that was the very first investigation here with your local investigator here, SIAT's #1 investigator, Wren Akane. Thank you all so much for coming in, and I hope that this was a very educational and insightful stream for all of you. I think the only announcement I have to make is that you should catch Apollo's stream tomorrow. I believe it's at 8 p.m. or 8 p.m. PDT. It's not PST anymore, we're in PDT now. But 8 p.m. PDT, he'll be racing Mario Kart 10 times. He tried to explain it to me. I don't understand how that works. I don't know how you could drive 10 cars at once. But you know what? If there was a person who could drive 10 cars at once, it would be Apollo. I believe him. So definitely check him out tomorrow. And thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. And hope everyone has a good one. Anyways, this is your investigator signing out.